Korea Steel Power Corporation as a safety equipment manufacturer for the flammable and non-flammable storage tanks has pursued its only road since 1990 in South Korea. Kspc has designed and manufactured pressure vacuum relief valve, emergency relief valve, gauge hatch cover, N2 nitrogen blanketing device, slot dipping device, end-of-line flame arrestor for deflagration, in-line flame arrestor for deflagration, and in-line flame arrestor for detonation. An oil tanker is a ship designed for the bulk transport of oil or its products. Oil tankers move large quantities of unrefined crude oil or refined products to onshore oil storage tanks. Oil tanker ships use loading arms to load or discharge oil from to onshore oil storage tanks. Oils or its products from oil tanker ships carry it through terminal pipelines to onshore oil storage tanks. During filling, oils or its products from ships' onshore oil storage tanks get pressure rising inside, and Kspc pressure vacuum relief valves gradually function to release over pressure for tank protection. When a pressure is generated, the tank will need to breathe in order to prevent explosion deformation. As the tank pressure exceeds the set pressure point, the pressure disc, so-called pallet, lifts and vents pressure to the atmosphere or pipeline. When emptying cycles of onshore oil storage tanks, it causes vacuum rising inside, and Kspc pressure vacuum relief valves gradually function to release over vacuum for tank protection. When a vacuum is generated, the tank will need to breathe in order to prevent implosion. As the tank vacuum exceeds the set vacuum point, the vacuum disc, so-called pallet, lifts and reduces vacuum from the atmosphere or via flame arrestor elements. The tanks also create overpressure and vacuum conditions resulting from thermal expansion and contraction of the liquid due to changes in ambient temperature. In case of an emergency fire, the tank is surrounded by flames, and it can cause the fluid inside the tank to vaporize. And finally, the pressure inside the tank can surge dramatically and rapidly exceed the flow capacity of normal relief valves. It generates a rapid pressure, and the tank will need to discharge rapidly in order to prevent explosion. As the emergency relief valve exceeds the set point, the cover lifts and rapidly discharge pressure to the atmosphere. When emptying cycles of tanks, it causes nitrogen insufficient, and Kspc nitrogen blanketing device functions to fill the empty space of the tank to reduce oxidation and product contamination. After filling the empty space of tanks, nitrogen blanketing device starts to close. Nitrogen supply by the pilot-operated diaphragm actuator. Flame arrestors fit to openings of enclosures or between the pipeline in order to allow flow but prevent flame transmission. Flame arrestors are placed as close as possible to a potential ignition source. or we can consider a detonation flame arrestor. There are two explosive mechanisms: deflagrations and detonations. A deflagration is where the flames are traveling at subsonic speeds. For a deflagration flame arrestor, its maximum installation length to ignition shall not exceed 50 times the diameter of the pipe, so-called 50D for 2A gas group. A detonation is a shock reaction where the flames travel at supersonic speeds. So the detonation is louder and often more destructive than the deflagration. When the maximum installation length to ignition exceeds 50 times the diameter of the pipe, so-called 50D for 2A gas group, we can apply for the detonation flame arrestor. This chart shows how deflagration transits to detonation. Gauge hatch covers are used for taking fluid samples from tanks. In contrast, slot dipping devices take fluid samples while gauging the height of liquid levels at the sampling point and measuring the depth of water bottoms, all without relieving the pressure within the tanks. During sampling, the slot dipping device prevents the loss of valuable vapors and minimizes the exposure of workers to excessive fumes. The quick opening valve unit operates by moving a lever through a 90 degrees arc for simple open and close actions. A bypass feature is included to equalize pressure between the tank and sampling chamber if needed for easier opening. The window in the top cover of the gauging unit can be equipped with an inside wiper to ensure clear visibility of the gauge taper, allowing for accurate readings. When filling cycles of tanks, it causes pressure rising inside, and Kspc pilot-operated pressure vacuum relief valves gradually function to release overpressure for tank protection, keeping precise control of the tank. When a pressure is generated, the tank will need to breathe in order to prevent explosion deformation. As the tank pressure exceeds the set pressure point, the tank pressure is loaded into the middle case through the pilot's sensing line. Simultaneously, the pressure under the pilot diaphragm also increases up to the set point, and the pilot will lift off the pilot seal to start venting the middle case pressure. Finally, the middle case will lift and the disc will open and relieve the overpressure from the tank until the pilot diaphragm pressure decreases. When emptying cycles of tanks, it causes vacuum rising inside, and Kspc pilot-operated pressure vacuum relief valves gradually function to release over vacuum for tank protection. When a vacuum is generated, the tank will need to breathe in order to prevent implosion. As the tank vacuum exceeds the set vacuum point, the vacuum disc, so-called pallet, lifts and reduces vacuum from the atmosphere or via flame arrestor elements. Due to the thermal expansion and contraction of the liquid occurred by changes in ambient temperature, it creates a huge vaporization inside the tanks. And without the proper vapor control solutions, it causes the liquid losses and environmental problems. Kspc pontoon-type internal floating roof can minimize the evaporation losses of stored products, such as jet fuels, gasoline, diesel, crude oil, and so on. Kspc internal floating roof is custom-made and designed as per customer requirement. Kspc internal floating roof consists of pontoon floats, deck sheets, seals, supporting legs, breather vents, well boxes, and so on. Kspc designs to assign the optimal quantity and location of the floats to ensure the easy installation at the site. Kspc floating suction system is used to ensure the quality of liquid products, such as aviation fuel tanks. Since fuel at the top is more likely to contain sediments, dirt, or water, the floating suction system is designed to float just below the liquid surface. This allows it to draw from the cleanest layer of the liquid, regardless of changing liquid levels. Kspc floating suction system consists of float tubes, suction pipes, swivel joints, stop chain, and supports. During tank filling, the floating tubes will raise the system to a specific liquid level, below the highest liquid level. And when emptying the tank, Kspc floating suction system will draw from the near-surface liquid, ensuring it remains free from contamination. For our valued customers around the world, Kspc has put our every effort into providing the safety solutions for oil and gas, petrochemicals, biofuels, mining, pharmaceuticals, power generation, agrochemicals, distilleries, and offshore plants.